Well, you guys, it is that time of year again. I have just filed my taxes, I just received my NOA, and paid a large chunk of my hard-earned money to the government. But I also realized in doing so again this year that I'm learning a ton of new tricks and things every single year that I didn't know the year before, and that I definitely did not know the first year I got started as a content creator. So I thought in today's video I would sit down here and talk all about my process, how I file taxes as a content creator, self-employed person, and also some of the little workarounds I've learned along the journey that help me save thousands and thousands, sometimes even tens of thousands of dollars every single year. Just a little disclaimer, however, before I get started with this video, I am a Canadian content creator based out of Montreal, so every year when I file my taxes, I am paying the CRA and RQ. So some of what I discuss may be different for you depending on what province or state you live in, if you're in a different country outside of Canada. So make sure that you do your own research to better understand how taxes and filing taxes works where you live, and take everything I say in this video with a tiny grain of salt. So the very first thing that I had to do my first year paying taxes as a content creator and YouTuber was to identify the structure of my business. Depending on whether you are a sole proprietor or an LLC or some kind of a corporation, each different business structure is going to have its own tax implications. So before figuring out how to file taxes, before actually filling out your taxes, you want to identify which business structure you fall under. Of course, again, this is going to range and vary depending on where you live and how things work in your area and your location, but regardless, you do need to understand what kind of business structure you fall under and how to file taxes for your structure. Because I am a content creator who does not have a registered LLC, the way that I file taxes and my implications are very different from a YouTuber who does have a registered LLC or a business. Now, this is something I cannot stress the importance of enough, and that is tracking every single penny of money you are making, every single penny of money you are spending, and putting some kind of category on every single one of them. I will wholeheartedly admit to you guys that my first year ever paying taxes as a content creator, I had not tracked a single penny of any of it, which meant that when it came to tax season, I had to go back into my bank account, had to go through the entire year statement for my various different accounts, and then I had to make a note of every single penny I spent or made throughout that entire year as a creator and put a category on each one of them. Since then, I have definitely learned my lesson. I created a Notion template where for the entire year, I'm tracking every single penny I am earning, every single penny I am spending, and I put a category on each one of them. And since I've said it about 2 or 3 different times now, this is why it is so important to put a category on every single penny that you're earning and spending. This most beautiful thing called business expenses and tax write-offs. This is where, as I said earlier, I save literally thousands and thousands, sometimes even tens of thousands of dollars in what I owe to the government on my taxes every single year. If, like I was when I first got started, you are completely unaware what a business expense is, what a write-off is, how all of that works, it is essentially some kind of a purchase or purchases that you're going to be claiming on your taxes that are going to lower the amount of money that you have to pay to the government. Now, when it comes to what you can and can't write off on your taxes, that is going to entirely depend on what it is you do for a living and your unique set of circumstances. And again, it's also going to vary and range depending on where you live and how things work in your location. But for my own set of personal circumstances, as you guys know, I am a full-time content creator. YouTube, TikTok, social media, that's what I do as a full-time job to earn a living, which does mean that when it comes to expenses and writing off things on my taxes, I can claim pretty much anything I spend money on or invest in when it comes to creating content and running my platforms. And to give you guys a better idea of all the things I can write off and claim as a content creator, I made you guys a little list so that if you are also a creator or some type of entrepreneur, you can also look into the same things for your taxes. So first, I can write off and claim any and all equipment that I use to film and edit my content, whether that is a camera lens, a tripod, a new SD card. Whenever I get a new cell phone or laptop or tablet, if I'm using it for content creation and for work purposes, that is also a very hefty write-off. Any and all memberships, licenses, or fees I pay for things like vidIQ, Canva, editing softwares, editing apps, all that kind of thing. If ever I invest in some kind of online course or ebook or digital product to invest in my skills and learn new skills, that is also a tax write-off because I'm learning new skills that go back into my business. I can also write off the majority of my home utility bills such as my internet, my electricity, my home insurance, and even my rent because my condo is also my workspace, so all of that is a write-off. Anything I buy for my workspace, whether that be furniture, electronics, or home decor, that all falls under the category of office supplies, and that is also a hefty write-off. If ever I am traveling and also creating content around wherever it is I'm traveling and what it is I'm doing, then I'm able to write off all of my flights, hotels, meals, tickets for where I'm going and what it is I'm doing, because in that case, if I am creating content around where it is I'm traveling and what I'm doing, then it counts as a business travel. If ever I go out to lunch or grab coffee with a creator friend, then that coffee and that meal counts as an expense because it's technically a business meeting. Yes, sometimes I will stretch that a little bit to make it work, but it does work and it's fully legal. Also, any and all products that you purchase for the sake of your video. So let's say you are a fashion influencer and you get a bunch of clothes for a try on clothing haul, all of those clothes count as a write-off because you use it for your video. If you create some kind of cleaning or organization content over on TikTok, then any and all things you buy for your organization counts as a write-off. And also a write-off I learned about for the first time this year for my taxes, anything you buy for your actual appearance on camera is a write-off. So for example, this purple shirt I bought because I'm wearing it to appear on camera, that does actually count as an expense. For me, I have never worn an ounce of makeup in any of my videos, but if you were to actually sit down and do a full face of makeup for your video, then all of that makeup is a write-off. And this entire list of write-offs and expenses I just shared with you guys, I had no clue about any of this for the entire first year I was doing my taxes, and I first learned this my second year when my advisor actually explained all of it to me. So for that reason, I definitely urge you guys to track every single penny of money you are earning and every single penny you are spending, and also put it into categories. Over in my Notion template, I tag it every single time it's a work expense so that when I file my taxes, it's so much easier to put it all together, calculate it, add it all up, and then claim it on my taxes. And also, as you may know, your chances of your taxes being selected for audit are so rare, but in the instance and the slim possibility that they are, you do want to keep receipts for absolutely everything you are writing off on your taxes. Now, when it comes to actually filing your taxes, this is another huge mistake I made. Spending so much money on hiring an actual accountant to do all of my taxes for me. Yes, it's absolutely a great time saver. You are investing in somebody who knows a lot more about taxes than you do. You're ensuring somebody's handling your taxes who knows what they're doing. But on top of however much money it is you have to pay to the government in taxes, that is a hefty investment. So once I got a pretty good idea of how taxes actually work, how to actually fill out and file taxes, that is when I switched from an accountant to filing online myself. And this is gonna sound so sponsored, but I promise you guys it isn't. I'm not even an affiliate. But a couple of years ago, one of my creator friends actually recommended filing online with wealthsimple, and that is when my entire life changed. I file my taxes with them online every single year because they make it so freaking easy a literal 2-year-old could do it. It's basically a fill in the blank type of format where you put in all of your income, all of your expenses, it checks for you based on your location if there's any kind of benefit that you're allowed to, and then all you have to do is just connect your government account. So for me it was CRA and RQ, but again depends on where you live, which definitely did make me a little bit nervous at first because you're connecting your literal like legal government account, but then I learned that wealthsimple is actually completely and totally verified by our actual government agency. So then I was totally fine with it, linked up all my accounts to wealthsimple, I paid all my taxes through them, and it was all said and done. And this just makes the entire process so much easier, and it's literally free unless you pay for the higher subscription, which I don't. And again, you don't have to pay an accountant, it's all completely and totally free. So this tool has definitely changed my life and I use it every single year. So now comes the fun part of actually paying your taxes. And I have definitely learned the benefit of paying your taxes quarterly. Because obviously I am no millionaire, I don't make $1 million a year or $1 billion a year, but I do make a considerable amount of money, a full-time income as a content creator, which means that even though I am not a millionaire, I do owe a pretty substantial amount of money to the government at the end of the year in tax season. And that amount can be a lot of money to have to fork over all in one shot and pay to the government all in one sequence. So definitely learning to pay my taxes in quarters 4 times a year is a lot better for me than forking it all over in one shot. A very, very good lesson that I taught myself. But that, you guys, is everything that I had to share all about how I pay taxes as a creator, my process, my hacks, my workarounds. Hopefully this was helpful or insightful in some way, shape, or form, and I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you guys want to see any more videos all about how to build, grow, and monetize your social media, then here are 2 more videos of mine that YouTube thinks you will love.